Okay, first of all, sorry. I know I was supposed to make the video ranking Marvel Rivals Gooner skins. You guys literally voted for it. But then Season 9 dropped, and I saw the community talking about something way more interesting. This season's Battle Pass is heavily inspired by Egypt, yet somehow Moon Knight, Black Panther, and Storm didn't get Egyptian-themed skins, even though all three have connections to Egypt or Egyptian mythology. So I changed my plans. I decided to make the missing skins myself, and since I'm planning to end my Marvel Rivals skin design series with this video, let's make the final one count.
Let's start with the most obvious character here, Moon Knight. Seriously, how do you make an entire Egyptian-themed season and not give the avatar of an Egyptian god a major Egyptian skin? Moon Knight's entire origin is connected to Khonshu, Marvel's version of the ancient Egyptian moon god. Mark Spector was originally a mercenary who was left for dead in Egypt. After being brought to the tomb of Khonshu, Mark was given another chance at life and eventually became Moon Knight, acting as Khonshu's avatar and carrying out his will. So out of every character in the game, Moon Knight was probably the easiest one to connect to this theme. And luckily, I didn't even need to create a costume from scratch, because the comics already gave us this. The bone armor from Moon Knight 2014 number 3. And come on, look at this thing! In this story, Moon Knight is dealing with a supernatural threat, and normal attacks aren't enough. So he goes into battle wearing this specialized armor to deal with ghosts. The entire costume looks like a combination of a mummy, an ancient warrior, and Khonshu himself. The wrapped body already gives it that Egyptian mummy aesthetic, while the skull-like mask makes Moon Knight look far more supernatural than his normal costume. And that's exactly why I chose it. For my version, I kept the major elements from the comic design: the wrappings, the layered armor, the skull-like head, and obviously Moon Knight's iconic white color scheme. But I adjusted the proportions to make it fit the much larger and more exaggerated design language of Marvel Rivals. And after putting everything together, this is the final result.
Next, we have Black Panther, and this one was actually the hardest of the three. Unlike Moon Knight, I couldn't find one specific comic costume that gave T'Challa the exact Egyptian look I wanted. So instead of forcing a random reference, I decided to create my own design. And obviously the first place I looked was Bast. Bast is the Panther goddess, deeply connected to Wakanda and the Black Panther legacy. Marvel's Bast draws from Bastet of ancient Egyptian mythology, the feline goddess associated with ancient Egypt. So while Wakanda itself is in Egypt, the mythology surrounding the Black Panther has a very obvious Egyptian connection. And since Marvel Rivals already has the Bast's chosen skin, I didn't want to just make another version of the same idea. Instead, I looked at different comic depictions of Bast. Some versions gave me the Egyptian headdress and jewelry. Other versions pushed the feline appearance much further. And that's when I got the idea. Instead of making T'Challa look like a man simply wearing an Egyptian costume, what if Bast's influence actually changed his appearance? So I gave Black Panther more visible animal features, including fur, while still keeping his recognizable Marvel Rivals body and silhouette. Then I added the Egyptian-style headdress, gold armor, and jewelry. I also pulled a little visual inspiration from Anubis-style imagery, especially when shaping the overall Egyptian warrior aesthetic. And finally, I kept the purple elements, because I still wanted the design to feel connected to Marvel Rivals' version of Black Panther. So the final idea became a fusion of Black Panther, Egyptian royal imagery, and the animalistic aspects of Bast. And this is how the final scheme turned out. And finally, Storm. Just like Black Panther, I couldn't find one perfect Egyptian-themed Storm costume that I wanted to directly adapt. But Storm has something even more interesting: her ancestry. While searching through her history, I came across Ashake, one of Storm's ancestors. Ashake was a powerful woman connected to Storm's ancient bloodline, and her design has exactly the kind of Egyptian visual identity I was looking for. The flowing white clothing, the blue tones, the jewelry, the headpiece. The entire design already has this almost divine presence, and honestly, it fits Storm ridiculously well. Now, technically, this isn't Storm's own costume. It's inspired by her ancestor,
but I think that's completely fair. Because Marvel Rivals already did the exact same thing with Black Panther by giving him a skin inspired by his ancestor Bashanga. So if T'Challa can get a Bashanga-inspired skin, Storm can absolutely get an Ashake-inspired skin. And Storm herself already has a major connection to Egypt. Aurora spent part of her childhood in Cairo, and that period became an important part of her early life before she eventually became the Storm we know. So for this design, I took Ashake's outfit as the main reference and adapted it directly onto the Marvel Rivals version of Storm. I kept the flowing white and blue clothing because it works perfectly with Storm's weather powers. I kept the gold jewelry and Egyptian-inspired elements, but I adjusted the overall silhouette so that even without seeing her face, you can still immediately recognize her as Storm. And this is the final result.
And there they are. Moon Knight, inspired by his comic bone armor, Black Panther, inspired by Bast and Egyptian mythology, and Storm, inspired by her ancestor Ashake. And with that, I'm ending my Marvel Rivals skin design series here. So tell me, which of these 3 skins is your favorite, and which one would you actually buy? Until then, Rydan signing off.